Systems are like those apps that run in the background, handling the small stuff so your brain can focus on the big stuff. Systems don't just make life easier, they shape who you are. Hey, did you know you're making thousands of decisions every single day and it's absolutely exhausting you? It is. We're going to fix it. Welcome to the Allie Worthington Show. Today we're talking about something so practical, so life-changing, and honestly, so underrated. Systems. We are in our Systems Are Sexy series. Now, before you roll your eyes and think systems, I don't want to talk about systems. It sounds about as exciting as organizing a sock drawer. I will tell you why I believe systems are sexy. Because they help us get what we want, plain and simple. And if you're ready to give your brain a break and make your life smoother, then stick around because this episode is packed with surprising science and practical steps. And just let's have a little fun along the way. I mean, if I have a series called Systems Are Sexy, we're going to have some fun with it. Here's what I want to give you first today. Did you know that research says you make an average of 35,000 decisions every day? 35,000. Think about that. Every text you send, every snack you grab, every should I respond to this email now or later thought counts as a decision. Now, most of these decisions are so small that we barely even notice them, but they add up. And by the end of the day, it's no wonder your brain feels like it's been put through the blender. We joke at our house that if it's after 5, mom is off duty. Don't ask me to think about things. Don't ask me to make big decisions. One of my sons will go, it's after 5. If I'm going to talk to you about something, do I need to book it during normal business hours? Now, of course, if it's really important and it's a big deal, I mean, no one's waiting. But it is a joke because we all realize like mom's brain's turned off. It's going to take me a lot longer to think about things. I'm tired at the end of the day. But the kicker is the majority of these decisions that you make during the day, they don't even matter. And it's no wonder we're tired before lunch. So what I want to do today is I want us to break down how systems can help and why they really are the secret weapon that you never knew you needed. You want a shocking bit about decision fatigue that I bet you don't know off the top of your head? Here we go. Decision fatigue affects judges. They are 65% more likely to give unfavorable rulings late in the day versus early in the morning. So if you have to go to court, make it before lunch. They just get tired. My guess is they get grumpy. I don't know. That's what the research says. There is a science of decision fatigue, and it makes sense why we're all tired by noon. If you ever find yourself scrolling Netflix for 20 minutes, trying to decide what to watch, or staring at your closet and thinking, what should I wear? This, my friend, is decision fatigue. Science shows that the more decisions we have to make throughout the day, the less mental energy we have for our big, important things. And here's how it works. Your brain, especially the prefrontal cortex, that's the decision-making hub, has limited capacity. Think of it like your phone's battery. Every decision you make drains a little more juice. And by the time you've chosen your outfit or you've answered 14 emails and decided what's for lunch, your brain is running on fumes. This is where systems come in. Systems are like those apps that run in the background, handling the small stuff so your brain can focus on the big stuff. They are the difference between chaos and clarity, and they are your brain's best friend. Multitasking, sometimes we think it makes us more productive, but it actually reduces our efficiency by up to 40%. Not only that, I've found when I start paying attention to how I feel during the day, if I'm multitasking, I won't be as happy. I just won't feel as good during the day. Your brain is wired to focus on one task at a time. Trying to juggle too much isn't a flex, it's a fast track to burnout. So a simple system to take time blocking for tasks can double your output, even though we think we should do this and this together and this and this. Actually, it's one and then another, and don't mix and match. Don't start scrolling on TikTok when you're supposed to be writing an email. Don't go check your email when you need to be working on a project because you feel like you can get a quick win by answering an email when a project is harder, right? So next, I want to talk about mental clutter. It really is your biggest enemy. And let's get real. Mental clutter is like having 37 tabs open on your browser. Some of them are useful, like the tab for your kid's school schedule. Others are just noise, like the tab for the fancy recipe that you're never going to cook, because who has that kind of ingredient list handy, right? Systems close the unnecessary tabs. It frees up space for what truly matters. People with fewer choices are actually happier. Research shows that limiting options, whether it's sticking to a capsule wardrobe or a preset meal plan, it will boost happiness. It will reduce stress. So maybe simplicity is really the ultimate luxury. So we've established every time you make a decision, you're spending precious mental energy. Systems will reduce that load, right? So imagine starting your day with an already pre-planned quiet time and then a workout, and you already have the meal plan set. You know what you're going to cook, or a designated time to tackle emails instead of spending energy deciding. You just do it. I never have to decide my work week because I have a system for how I'm going to spend my days. So I know Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I'm coaching with clients all day long. Thursday and Friday, sometimes I'll do a little coaching if I have to, if somebody needs to reschedule. But those are days that I work on this show, that I'm recording this show for you right now, that I'm having meetings. I go down to the studio, Little Thing Studio. I do called creatives work. All of that stuff happens Thursday and Friday. Saturday, when all the boys are watching football or all the boys are watching basketball, hanging out, I pop open my laptop and do some catch-up work. If I don't have any catch-up work, those are my favorite Saturdays. I spend that time dreaming and learning something new and taking a course and just expanding my skill set. I never ask myself, when am I going to get it all done? Because I have a day and a time that I'm going to get it all done. Now, here's the twist. Over-planning can backfire. So research shows that if you make overly detailed plans, it can overwhelm your brain. It'll make you less likely to follow through. So I want you to choose a framework that works for you. Choose a framework, not a rigid plan. So don't micromanage yourself. I want you to keep it simple and flexible. Like I said, my Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, that's coaching. Thursday, Friday, that's for everything else. Saturday could be catch up or learning or dream time. And I don't work all Saturdays. But that's my framework. I don't micromanage every little thing in there. Things can move around. I like to think of my calendar as kind of a Tetris board, and I can move things around as I need to, as long as I actually don't move anything off the board. So let's talk about building systems for you, how to build a system that works for your life. I want to flip the script on traditional advice, because building systems doesn't mean adding more to your plate. I am not here saying, hey, let's give you more work to do. Let's make this harder. It's about doing less and making what you do effortless, not making it harder. So the first step I want you to think of is to stop thinking and start copying, okay? Don't reinvent the wheel. I want you to look at a system that someone else is using and adapt it for you. If your neighbor swears by meal prepping on Sundays, try it for a week. Borrow what works and leave the rest. Success loves speed, not perfection. I'm going to say that again for all the Enneagram 1s in the audience. Success loves speed, not perfection. Step number 2, I want you to use the one decision rule. So you can reduce an entire system to one key decision. For example, instead of figuring out an elaborate workout schedule, decide I'm working out at 7 a.m. every weekday, no matter what. Seriously, you don't have to decide exactly what it's going to be right now. The smaller the mental hurdle, the easier it is to stick with, okay? I'm working out Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. You can give yourself an out if I have a sick kid or if I have the flu, obviously. But other than those things, it's what you do. Now, I do this with my kids. I have a rule that we've decided once. We have a go-to breakfast. The boys get eggs in the morning. Is it boring? Yes. But is it easy? Yes. Is it high protein? Yes. Sometimes I mix it up. If we have leftover pork roast, I make pork eggs, and it is delicious. I will tell you, as a woman that has so many men in her household, when I make scrambled eggs every morning, every day of the week, I make 14 at a time. 14. Our HOA doesn't let us have chickens, so I'm buying a lot of eggs. But we decided this is what you have for breakfast. I'm not waking up every morning going, oh, what am I going to make the boys for breakfast? I hope they get enough protein. I hope they eat something that isn't sugary. I love waking up and doing that. Is it boring? Yes. Is it a system? Yes. Does it make life easier? Yes. Do we all love it? Absolutely. Now, it doesn't have to be boring. Step number 3 is you can actually make it fun. Here's the secret. Systems don't have to be boring. Add a little joy to your routine. If you hate tidying up, turn it into a game. See how much you can clean during one song that you put on. Or if you want to save money, reward yourself with a fun coffee once you've hit your weekly budget goal. A cheap coffee. We're not talking about an expensive coffee. Do something nice for yourself, right? For me, about a year and a half ago, I wanted to get healthy and I wanted to lose weight and I wanted to gain muscle. And I gave myself, at this point, when I get here, this is my big reward. At this point, when I get here, this is my big reward. And it felt great. It had to be a reward that was big enough that I wouldn't just do it on my own because as the breadwinner in a family, I'm happy to treat myself. I work hard, but it had to be something special. So I knew when I was getting to a certain point in my health journey that it would be a big treat. So make it fun. Whatever works for you, give yourself permission to do it. Now, step number 4, I want you to design for failure, not for perfection. I want you to assume things are going to go wrong because this is life. Things will go wrong. I want you to set up a backup plan. If you miss a morning workout, can you squeeze in a 10-minute walk during lunch? Or can you put the babies in a stroller and go for a stroll after dinner? Systems that account for slip-ups are systems that last. If you're planning for everything to be perfect, it's not going to work. You got to plan for failure and have a backup plan. Redundancy is the key to success with this. So one of my systems that reduces my decision fatigue is I get certain things delivered on schedule. Every weekend, we get paper towels. Every month, we get trash bags, all of the staples. Every Saturday, we get coffee. Every Saturday, we get LaCroix for my husband, things like that. But things can go wrong because maybe we used a bunch of garbage bags one month. Who knows? It was a catastrophe in our household. Or we used too many Ziploc bags or whatever. I always keep a stash of a little extra as a backup. So in the pantry, on the back of the door, I have one of those mesh shoe holder bags, but I keep extras of everything. So the bottom of a trash bag box, you know how you'll get that little tight roll of maybe 6 trash bags that you take out before you throw the box away? That's in there. Some emergency Ziploc bags, all sorts of little things that we could run out of in emergency and we would be in a pinch. We keep them. I don't use them normally. They're only there in case something bad happens and I need to have it. Again, have a redundancy, have a backup, plan for failure so you never get stressed out. Now, the last step is the most important. I want you to schedule rest as a system. Now, rest isn't a luxury. It's a productivity tool. When you take intentional breaks, your brain's default mode network kicks in. It will boost your creativity and it will boost your problem solving. This was hard for me to learn because I really love to just charge hard all day long, get as much as I could done. But with my wearables, I've told you so much about my Apple Watch and my Aura Ring. I noticed that my cortisol was just through the roof. So now during the day, I will schedule in time to relax. I will just lie down on my office floor and listen to worship music and do breathwork exercises. I will journal. I'll go for a quick walk. Things that I never made time for before, but I was running too hot. My cortisol was too much. So we don't just need a Sabbath. We need to plan those relaxation times during the day. So at least in our house, when my husband says my name across the house, I look at him with love and not like I'm going to chop his head off because I'm so stressed, right? Has nothing to do with him. It's just if I've been hard charging all day long and I haven't scheduled in rest as a productivity tool, as something that's good for my spiritual health and my emotional health, I will just be too revved up during the day. Okay, let's talk about what could get in the way of you building your systems. Because you may think that sounds great, but what about when life happens? And yes, life can be terrible. January for me was rough. I got sick. Mark got sick. One of our sons got sick. Another son was recovering from surgery. January is just rough, right? It happens. Life throws curveballs. Things are tough. Everybody I knew was sick too. So if you're nodding, I feel your pain. But systems aren't about perfection. They're about progress. And here's how we handle the hiccups. So if your challenge is you're feeling overwhelmed, I want you to start with one small system. Don't try to tackle everything at once, okay? If anything I have said today feels overwhelming, do not let yourself build 5 systems. Build one small system. And success builds on itself. Once you get a win in one area, you're going to catch yourself getting wins in other areas. If your challenge is sticking with it, I want you to tie your system to a reward, like I talked about earlier. Like after completing your morning routine, enjoy your favorite cup of tea. Sit down, look out the window, enjoy it. Just whatever is rewarding to you, let yourself have that. So again, if you feel like, oh, this is a drain, this takes forever to get used to, plan something good at the end. It's as simple as that. Now, if your challenge is resistance from others, this one's tricky. And if that's the case, it's really important to communicate the benefits to them. So if it's a family system, for instance, you need to explain how it makes life easier for everyone. Or for me, I've explained this is the way I won't be grumpy. Do you want angry mom or do you want happy, relaxed mom? Do you want stressed out mom or relaxed mom? Because your life's going to be a lot better with relaxed mom. So you just have to let people know what's in it for them to go along with the new system, especially in a family. And the thing is, when you create systems, it's not just about saving time. It's not just about reducing stress. It's about creating margin. It's about space in your life for what truly matters. And here's something we often overlook. Systems really are an act of self-care. Think about a system as a gift to your future self. Maybe it's setting up a system to meal prep on Sundays so you're not scrambling on busy weeknights. Or maybe it's creating a bedtime routine that signals to your brain that it's time to wind down. These aren't productivity hacks. They're ways to show yourself love and compassion. And you know what I always say, self-care isn't just a spa day and a bubble bath. Sometimes it's about putting boundaries in place or automating repetitive tasks to free up that mental load. For example, I have automatic bill payments, so it's one less thing for me to worry about each month. That's a little bit of mental peace that you're gifting yourself when you do that. Because when your brain isn't overwhelmed by little decisions, you can focus on joy and connection. You can focus on what matters. I mean, imagine spending less time deciding what to eat and what to wear and more time being present with your kids or doing a devotional. Systems free us to thrive. But here's the bigger picture. Systems don't just make life easier, they shape who you are. Because over time, the systems you create reinforce your identity and they reinforce your values. For instance, daily gratitude journaling system. It's not just about writing, it's about becoming a more grateful person. Small, consistent actions will transform how you see yourself. And yes, the app is almost done. We are working on it. We are so close to getting it ready for you. Who knew building an app takes so long? Probably everyone that's ever built an app, but not me. So thank you for being patient. Okay, back to systems. Systems will reveal your priorities. If you set up a system for weekly family dinners, we do ours Sunday. We have most dinners together, but Sunday dinners, we make sure that we have together. You're not just scheduling meals, you're declaring that family time is sacred. It is a powerful way to align your actions with what truly matters in life. So think of a tiny stream and it's carving out a canyon over millennia. That's what systems do. They steadily shape the landscape of your life. When you choose intentional systems, you're building a foundation for growth and faith and purpose. Okay, if you're not driving, let's pause for a minute. I want you to grab your phone. You can do this in the Notes app. Of course, you could do this in the app when it's done, but that's a story for another day. Or you can grab pen and paper. I'm going to ask you 3 questions. Here we go. First question. What's one area of life that feels chaotic or draining? What's one area of life that feels chaotic or draining? Question number 2. What small system could you create to bring clarity and peace to this? And final question, how would having that system in place change your daily life? So if you're overwhelmed by all the things, let's just pick one area. What's that one area of life that feels chaotic or draining? What's a small, tiny system that you could create that's going to give you a little clarity and peace? And then I want you to think about the benefit. How would having that system in place change your daily life? Because we need to know the benefits. It's not just to tell other people what the benefits of a system is. We need to understand the benefits to ourselves because we won't feel like doing it because it'll feel hard. Anything that we do that's different and out of the norm and is anything other than the path of least resistance, our body and our brains will go, absolutely not. So we need to remember what we're getting out of it. And speaking of remember, here's what I want you to remember. Systems aren't about turning your life into a rigid routine. Nobody wants that. They're about creating freedom, freedom from decision fatigue, freedom from chaos, and freedom to focus on what matters most. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope I have convinced you that systems are sexy and you want to build some systems to get you out of decision fatigue. Now, recommendations. I've told you about this show before. I'm going to tell you again. I wish I could watch it again fresh and I didn't see it. It is Silo. It's on Apple TV. It is phenomenal. It has Rebecca Ferguson. You know her from Mission Impossible. You know her from The Greatest Showman. Season 2 is over. I'm still sad about it. I loved it so much. I still find myself looking up YouTube breakdowns about the show. It's just phenomenal. So Silo's where it's at. If you haven't watched it yet, it's really good. Now, for my recommendation, this is between you and me. I'm going to find out, does my health coach watch this podcast? Because if she does, I will be in trouble. You knew her. It's Rebecca. She was on recently. But here's my guilty pleasure. It is A&W root beer, but it's zero sugar. So it's zero caffeine because my stomach doesn't like caffeine, and zero sugar. So it's basically just a bunch of chemicals. And you know I'm on a health journey and I do everything healthy. But I'm not like health nut and nothing is unhealthy. So I do have a guilty pleasure. My guilty pleasure right now is A&W zero sugar root beer, and it is delicious. Okay, other things I love? You, of course. I am so grateful that you're here with me. Thank you for investing in yourself because it's not just for you, it's for everybody. Thank you for spending this time learning about decision fatigue, learning about systems, and thinking through what's a small tweak I can make in my life that'll help me have more time for what I love. Good job. Seriously, you could have spent your time doing anything, but you did it investing in you. So thank you. I am thrilled to get to remind you every week that you're stronger than you think, you're smarter than you give yourself credit for, and you're braver than you feel in the hard moments. And the best part is you're just getting started. Whether you're 22 or 82, God has big plans for you, and the Spirit of God lives in you. And those dreams that are in your heart, they're not there by accident. They're there because He gave them to you, and He's going to give you everything you need to live them out. It's my joy to get to coach you and equip you. So keep stepping up, keep loving well, keep showing up, because you know the truth. You can't break a woman who gets her strength from God. I'll be back with you again soon. Makes sense? No. Especially the prefrontal. Hold on. We're going to start that again.